Hi guys, good morning and welcome to Aussie's group. This is Vidisha Vitlani again, and today we are back with my favorite component as always, and that's obviously going to be the speaking component. Firstly, I like speaking, because of a couple of reasons. First reason is that compared to all the other components, you need to prepare relatively very less for it. So that is one reason I really like the speaking component. Second reason is because I believe it's easier to score in listening compared to writing. At the same time, what I feel is if you have the ability to have a natural conversation, if you're good with your communication skills, speaking is going to be a cakewalk for you. It's going to be very, very simple. And especially scoring a 7, basic 7 is simple. Yes, if you want to go above that, if you want to reach a 7.58, there are various things that you have to do, and which I always keep on telling that it is important for everybody to practice having a conversation, be slightly witty, give answers. Okay, so compared to the speaking, coming to the speaking module, which are the 3 parts in it? The first part is the introduction part. As I always tell you, this is a warm-up session. This is a session where you're talking to the examiner, where the examiner is asking you things about yourself. Now, what do you do when somebody asks things about yourself? You answer it. And how do you answer it? You answer it honestly. Yes, I'll tell you one reason why this honesty is important. For example, I'm giving you this example. Okay, let's say the examiner is asking you, do you like classical music? Okay, and I just, in terms to, impress the examiner, I'm going to be like, yes, I like classical music. Okay, who's your favorite singer? Now I'm stuck. I've never listened to classical music in my life, and I don't know who's my favorite singer. So what am I going to do? Rather, examiner is not judging me on what content I speak. Okay, how I speak matters. So if I say, no ma'am, I am not very fond of classical music, I find it relatively boring. In fact, I like rock and pop and jazz. So what happens here is, I've tried to be honest. My answer is elaborative. At the same time, I have given a completeness in my answer, right? Also, very important thing when answering the cue cards or answering the introduction question is the term called paraphrasing. I always tell you that paraphrasing is the most underrated term when it comes to IELTS. For example, again, if somebody is asking you, do you like playing games on the computer? What do normal students do? I like playing games on the computer, or I don't like playing games on the computer. What I ask you to do is rephrase. Don't repeat the words which are said by the examiner. I want you to rephrase the words. I want you to paraphrase it in such a way, like for example, if somebody is asking me, do you like listening to music or do you like playing games on the computer? I'm not going to say that. What am I going to say? I'm going to say, I'm extremely fond of playing games on the computer, or I'm not really fond of playing games on the computer. Make sure you're not repeating the words. Make sure you paraphrase the question. So this paraphrasing technique is a technique which is going to help you get above 7. If you really want to score above 7, go for the paraphrasing. It's going to work wonders for you, trust me. Also, a lot of students come up with this query, which I'm commonly asked all the time. What is the length of the answer? Like in the introduction question or in the cue card question, what is the ideal length? I'll tell you, the ideal length of the answer is a complete answer. Make sure it's not too long, it's not too short, 2 to 3 sentences. Again, students come and ask me that should the introduction questions be answered, in a shorter way, and should the cue card questions be answered in a longer, very good length. I'll tell you, if you ask me something, am I going to think before speaking? Okay, I'm going to speak 2 sentences on this. No, I don't want to speak 3 sentences on this. How? That's not possible. That's not humanly possible. At least I cannot do it, honestly speaking. So, I'll simply tell you, please give an answer which is complete. Give an answer which makes sense. For example, if somebody is asking me, what do you do in your free time? Okay? I spend my leisure time reading. I'm a bookworm, At the same time, I love dancing, so I try to learn different art forms. My answer is complete. It's just a two-line answer, but my answer is a complete answer. Or if in the counter question, let's say I'm asked a question, what do you think? What kind of books do children read in other countries? I can say children all over the world tend to read the same kind of books. They like genuinely books which have a lot of pictures, like something like comics and storybooks. Females like fairy tales, So this way, I want you to give a complete answer. Don't worry about the length. Okay? Keep one thing in your mind when you're answering the question. Whatever you're going to answer is going to be complete. Whatever you're going to answer is going to be a proper, complete conversation. Remember one thing, you're talking to the examiner. You're striking a conversation. If you're able to strike a natural conversation, trust me on this, guys, it's sorted with speaking. You don't have to worry about anything else. You're just simply done. Okay? So this is what you really have to keep in mind. I'm going to take you through cue cards today. By the way, today is not a session about introduction or the cue card counter questions. Today is a session about the cue card, and that's what we're going to do. And the best thing is I'm going to speak a few cue cards for you. And I love doing that. I don't know. The topics are very interesting and I love sharing my own experiences. I like doing that. I'm going to tell you how you're supposed to do that. Again, as I always tell you, please make sure that when you're speaking, you're not giving a speech. So a lot of these students, they have this set of cue cards. So they, mug it up and then they're like all over the place. They're like, okay, like let's say if there's somebody's asking you if you need to buy something, you'll be like on and on and on for 2 minutes as if you've mugged it up entirely and you're there on the podium giving a speech. Don't do that. Examiner wants to talk to you, not listen to your speech. So please ensure you're talking, you're saying something, you're narrating your own experience. Also, I say this, that include answer which is very unique. This works the best and it has done. For example, when I went for my speaking, I was asked a question, describe a thing that somebody bought for you and made you happy. Now, I'd read a lot of sample answers and I'd been referring a lot of things. So back then, I heard people buying, jewelry, people buying, I read somewhere books, something, okay. So what I said is something that is my favorite. So I really like the star-shaped compass. So I said it on the ad. My father bought me a Jeep compass on my birthday. Because it was my cue card, it was something very unique and something that I wanted really. I could speak with a lot of emotion in it. I could make myself the center of it. At the same time, I had a lot of content on it. Because I had that, it became easier for me to speak. I was more expressive. I had more details included. Another thing, put as many personal details you can. Like personal details in the sense, for example, when asked about the same thing, same question, that describe something you really wanted. So I said, I cooked up a whole story that I drive an item right now and it was just very small and I badly wanted it. So 2 months back, I was sitting on my breakfast table having breakfast with my father. So sitting on the breakfast table having breakfast with my father is a very personal detail as if I have experienced it. Okay. And that's when suddenly, a doorbell rang and I just got a cover. So, the doorbell ringing, sitting with the father on the breakfast table. What are all these? All these are nothing but uniqueness. All this is nothing but personal details. Now if I'm saying something like this, I'm very sure you're not going to get it on Wikipedia. I'm very sure you're not going to get it anywhere on Google or anywhere on YouTube or any other, site you refer. So when you're preparing the cue cards, have a habit of preparing a storyline like this. Because trust me, when you do so, you are actually giving the examiner a very, very good impression. You're giving the examiner a very nice, lasting impression that you're good with this, you've done this properly, you know how to have a conversation. Also, it includes like native speaker, and the more you're gonna get in flow with it. Okay, so there are 3 things that you need to do while preparing a cue card. Let's say a topic is given. The first thing you do is you think about what you're going to speak. For example, if the topic is an advertisement that you remember. Okay, so what I'm going to do is think, what advertisement do I remember? Now, in this case, always pick up a topic. Always choose a topic which you can speak on for 2 minutes, right? Basically, I want you to pick up a topic which you can speak for 2 minutes. That's what makes a difference. Otherwise, there's no point. Okay. So even though there's some some product that I really like, but the advertisement has nothing, what am I going to do about it? I can't do anything about it. Okay, I'm gonna pick up that topic on which I can speak for 2 minutes. I'm gonna pick up that topic which makes me speak for 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna pick up a lot of topics today. I'm gonna pick up at least 3-4 topics for you to speak, for me to speak any which ways. And by the way, we have this Telegram group that's called IELTS Tutorials. You can join that. So I keep on giving these cue cards every single day there as well. You can join us there too. We also have IELTS tutorials online. I think everything is running out of discount here these days. So you can avail the services. Let's go back to the cue card. There are 3 techniques that I want you to follow. First thing, as I told you, that please focus and decide what you're going to write. Once you're done with focusing and deciding what you're going to write, jot down points, jot down everything that you can think. And I suggest give 10 to 15 points. Then drag it. Generally, I always tell them that people who are extroverts do very well when it comes to speaking, because they genuinely tend to talk a lot. And in this case, the content doesn't matter. It has to be relevant. That is something that's important. But how you speak matters much more. Okay. So this is a strategy that I've devised. Basically, it's a 3M strategy. How do you plan your cue card? How do you arrange your cue card? The first thing is the 3M strategy. What is a 3M strategy? 3M strategy is nothing. The first strategy says micro planning. Now, what on earth is micro planning? Micro planning is nothing but the thing that I told you. Adding minor details. Adding minor details is very, very important, because the best thing about this is when you add minor details, everything works best. You have a lot of content. You look very natural. You have a very natural speech when you speak. So that works really well. So again, one more thing that I want to tell you is add as much as you can. Okay. Second is mind mapping. What is mind mapping? Mind mapping is again nothing but when you create a flowchart. I've done a mind mapping actually. And the next slide I'm going to show it to you. Mind mapping is nothing but creating a flowchart of what I'm going to speak relevantly, or what content I'm going to be including in it. So that is something that makes sense here. Okay. The third is making answers to WH questions. And what is making answers to WH questions? When you don't have the content, okay, when you don't have content for anything, what you're going to do is you're going to simply answer questions like when, where, which, how, for what, right? Whereas give reasons to it, elaborate it, and that's how it works. Basically, you're going to figure out content. So let's say you're stuck up and you can't figure out the content for it. Let's say you're not able to strike the content, you're not able to do it. I would simply suggest you that please keep on answering WH questions. You'll be able to do it in a better way. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the slide which comes ahead. Okay. So my topic for this is a book that I have recently read. Which book it is, when did you read it, and why did you like it? Okay, so the first thing that comes to my mind is that what book it is. And so the first book I'm going to put up is a book that I read a lot, and that becomes easier for me to speak on it. So that's what I have chosen. Second thing is, when did you read it? So when did I read it is, again, you can just put it, you can just create a story that you like how I have done. In the next flowchart I'll show you. And why do you like it? So basically this constitutes the major chunk of your cue card. Like, why do you genuinely like it, and why are you fond of it? Okay, so I have created a scenario where I have actually put up a flowchart, and this is what you're supposed to do in the exam. The first thing that I've put up is the name of the book is The Alchemist, because I have loved always reading it. Second thing I'm going to put is the author for it. The third thing I'm going to put is when did I read it at the first, how it happened, and then I said it's a gift. I'm going to say the basic storyline of it. I'm going to go for the learnings of it. I'm going to say how simple the language is, the popularity. Okay, now one thing you've got to make sure is that when you actually speak the cue card, all these 3 sub questions that you're saying are included. Another important thing is that when you talk, you have your content minimum for 2 minutes. Now, see here the examiner might stop you for 2 minutes. They might actually, uh, stop you before 2 minutes, but that shouldn't really bother you. Reason being that you should have the content. Also, you should cover all the three questions in the given time. See, because if you're not able to do so, what really happens is that ultimately you're going out of focus. Ultimately, you've not accomplished your task. So make sure before the end of 2 minutes you're actually completing it. Before the end of 2 minutes, you're able to finish your cue card speaking. Okay. So I'm going to speak on this cue card with the timer on, and my topic for today, the first topic for today, is a book which I recently read. Which book, when, and why did I like it? Okay. Coming back. So as I told you that I have these three things to talk on, and I have a timer on with me. So here is my timer, and let's see if I am able to speak for 2 minutes or not. Once I speak, listen to me carefully when I'm speaking, and later I'll be evaluating it for you, how I spoke, like what did I try to include in here, and I want you to do the same. Okay, so we'll just begin. Okay. The book that I am extremely fond of, the book which was my favorite, is a book called Alchemist. The Alchemist is a very famous book, and it has broken all the records. It's a sensation now. The book is written by Paulo Coelho. Actually, I love reading. I'm always surrounding my books, and I breathe books at times, I feel. My favorite genre is fiction, and that's what this book is about. And this book is the best one because it's not only like a storyline, but it has a lot of philosophy, it has a lot of spirituality, it has a lot of, sayings, it has a lot of motivational thoughts. So that's the best thing about this book. So I read this book first when I was in 8th grade. I was very young, and a friend of mine had gifted me this book. And I thought to read it. Initially, I found it a little boring, but I gave it some try. And the first time I read the book, honestly speaking, I just understood around 30-40% of it. Yet I was very happy about it. And the next time I read it, and till date I read it, I find something new every time I read. So that's the best thing. The best thing about this book is you have to read in between the lines of what Paulo Coelho tries to say, and his writing style is exceptional. It's phenomenal. Like, I have never seen a writer like him. The basic storyline revolves around a small boy who actually goes in to find his treasure, and there are various characters in it. The boy is a shepherd, he meets a king, he meets the alchemist. So basically, an alchemist is a person who converts anything into gold. So that is a very good storyline. I've referred it to a lot of people. It is my travel companion. Wherever I am traveling, I have this book with me. It is like a Bible for me. Trust me, whenever I have any problems, the first thing I'm going to do is look up to this book. And I think everybody, I think all the solutions to the life problems are there. And there's this one very nice quote in that book that says, "A heart that seeks treasure never fails. A heart that seeks success never fails." That's always something that keeps me motivated, that we should always look out for what we want. We should always struggle for what we want, and then we will achieve it. So this is one reason I like this book. Okay. Tada! I've been able to, I think, 2 minutes 18 seconds. Ideally, the examiner would have stopped me at 2 minutes. At 2 minutes, I was at a phase where I was telling that why I like this book. So I almost completed all my 3 points in here. Now, what did I include here? First thing, my task achievement was done. Task achievement in the sense, why is The Alchemist my favorite book? When did I read it? What book is it? Is all included. All the 3 subpoints are included, and I have spoken on this topic for 2 minutes. Okay. Second thing, my fluency was good. I did not pause. Only for ideas, not for words. I did not hesitate. I was on and on and on. So naturally, my fluency was good. I was talking to the exam. I included a lot of words. I included a lot of phrases. Very common, basic phrases, something that we use in our day-to-day lives. Like, I breathe books. I'm a bookworm. I'm an avid reader. Then I included, I guess I did say is phenomenal writer. It's phenomenal writer, very exceptional. Something that keeps me motivated, something that keeps me going. So keeps me going is also, a phrase. So basically, if you use such phrases in your speaking, you do really well. So a lot of students ask me that in speaking we don't find words, we're not good with lexical resource when it comes to speaking. So I simply tell them one thing: create a word bank for yourself. Like most of my offline students, I tell them that have a book. Okay, towards the end of the book, you have pages, like you have vocab, you have words that you keep on repeating, and those words, like for example, I have prepared around 30 cue cards with the same set of words. Doesn't matter. There you're going to say only one. So always make sure you have a word bank with you, which you can keep using. For example, I have made a list of few words which you can use for people. I've made a list of few words which you can use for place. I've made a list of few words which you can, really use for different scenarios. So that is something that works the best. Okay. And it really, really is a good thing to do. It's like the best thing to do. Okay. You want to try one more? Yeah. I don't know. This is like my favorite thing to do. I always, all my students also like speak this cue card, and it's fun. So basically, let's go back here. If you realize I made use of all these points and it's easier. Let's go to the next one. Okay. The next cue card is an intelligent person, who is he? How do you know him? Why do you think he or she is intelligent? So normally people talk about their family members, or they tend to talk about their relatives. They talk about, their bosses. So I picked up a simpler version. I'm going to talk about my friend and he's going to be flattered with this. Right. So I'm going to talk about a friend, and I met at the airport, and I just noted down all the points I could. And trust me, when I was noting down the points, I have noted down, these are the points, kind of points that you can write down, like for preparation of the cue card. Okay. And basically there are 3 sub questions in this. Who is he? How do you know him? Why do you think he or she is intelligent? Again, an intelligent person, who is he? How do you know him? Why do you think he or she is intelligent? Let's go back to the cue card. Okay, I'm back to the intelligent person, and I'm going to speak on this again for 2 minutes. The 3 sub questions inside: who is she? How do you know him? And why do you think he's intelligent? Let's go. Okay, and there I go. A person I think who is very smart, who is very intelligent, is a very dear friend of mine. His name is Amit, and the first time we met was in a very weird scenario. I was waiting for my flight, and my flight was delayed, and that's when he was sitting next to me. And obviously bored passengers tend to have a conversation, and amidst that we became very good friends. He is luckily, he belongs to my city, and we were on the same flight. And he's a very famous businessman, which I got to know later. He's a business tycoon of my city. So there are reasons why I feel this person is intelligent. Intelligence varies from person to person. It's always subjective. A person might be, higher with the general knowledge but not very intelligent. A person might be, very successful but not be intelligent. And in this case, this person is genuinely very witty. Like when you have a conversation with somebody, you realize it instantly. There are few answers which he gave me which were so smart, which had, so much of presence of mind. Also, this person's story is very good. I mean, this person became a business tycoon in 5 years at the age of 32. And what I realized is because of the good decision making abilities, and decisions which require a lot of courage, which require a lot of strength. But at the same time, he told me that it is his rational thinking that got him here. So a lot of people just risk things without knowing, but in his case, he was very rational about it. He thought of all the plausible situations, and then he took decisions. So that's what got him success. Also, this person is very affable, very approachable. If I go to him with any problem, he would be instantly there to help me. In fact, he solved all my professional problems like in a minute, in a snap of a second. He has a solution to it. So that's what makes him, I think, intelligent. I think that is the virtue of an intelligent person, that they can, find a solution for every fix. And that's what makes this person very, very smart. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. So did you realize the background was so good? I just had to speak on the person for like a minute and a half, which was very easy to speak on somebody who's smart. A person who's smart naturally successful, and a person who's successful, and I created a story. There was a struggle and success, and the person helps me. So this is exactly what you're supposed to do. It's that simple, trust me. I mean, just use your creativity. Okay, you want to do one more now? The last cue card. I used a lot of phrases in this case. You should have seen that. In a fix, snap of second. A lot of them. Okay. Yes, the last cue card that I'm going to do for you is a practical skill that you learn. So see, there are a few cue cards which are difficult, few cue cards which are easy. But technically, I believe there's no cue card, which is difficult or easy. It's more or less what clicks you. Believe it or not, somewhere down the line, yes, it is the presence of mind that counts. Like, for example, a practical skill that you learn, you're in an examination hall, you're sitting in front of the examiner. Sometimes what happens, it doesn't strike what you're supposed to say. So you really have to be, a little quick-witted to answer this. You really have to be slightly, more better to answer this. So for example, in my case, I picked up, practical skill driving because that's what I learned. So what points that I have? The points that I have is driving, day-to-day need, arduous is difficult, complex, hand-eye coordination, whatever words I could think of is something that I have written here. I have one more cue card for you guys, and the same thing by the way. Right. So what was it? When and where did you learn it? Why did you learn it? What was it? When and where did you learn it? Why did you learn it? Okay. So what can you write in this? Like, I've picked up driving. You can pick up any skill that makes sense to you. So I've picked up driving. You can pick up any skill that makes sense to you. You can pick up, cooking, dancing, reading. I'm going to pick up driving because that's what I'm going to do. A very practical skill that I learned was driving. So basically, before I knew how to drive, I had to use public transport for transportation or ask somebody to drop me or pick me every time I could travel, which is not a very, convenient thing to do. So one fine day, like this happened for 4 years, that I was stuck up in a mess and I was feeling very helpless. That moment, I realized that I'm supposed to learn driving. And I enrolled myself in a driving school in my own city, and I thought I'm going to do this. So the first day of my driving, I was really scared, but the trainer was really nice. So he made me sit in the car. He was explaining me all the technicalities of it, where's the engine, how does it start, what are the gears. He was explaining me a lot about the theory, what are the road rules to be followed, what are the punishments if you don't follow the road rules in my city. So basically, first I was briefed about the theory. Then the next day, the practical training started, which was very, very difficult. So I realized driving is very, it seems very easy, like you're just holding a steering and, going through it. But it is very difficult, like it has a lot of other complexities. You have to, be careful about the accelerator, braking, clutch. The gears have to be shifted on time. So there is a lot of hand-eye coordination required. It's arduous at first, I thought it's, such a hard nut to crack. But eventually I did it. Like the first 5 days were very bad. The trainer had most of the control. In the next 5 days, I acquired the skill. I had to practice a lot. Like for 2 months, I used to practice every day for half an hour. And then ultimately, I got myself a car and I'm able to drive very well. Today, I have learned that so well that I'm considered to be one of the best drivers in my group. And wherever we go across, road trips or whenever we're traveling long distances, I'm the one who drives. So this is one skill I believe everybody should learn because that makes you self-dependent. that makes you confident. Also, I love driving now. It's more or less like a hobby and more or less like a stress buster for me now. It's easy. I mean, the content, if you're really sure of, if you really connect with the content, it's easy to speak for 2 minutes. It's really not that difficult. So guys, I want you to do this. You can join our Telegram group. This is a very interesting thing for you guys. You can join our Telegram group. It's called IELTS Tutorials. Whatever cue card you find difficult, let's say there's a topic which you're not able to say, there's a topic you don't have content on, post it to me. I'll give you samples on it where you can refer. Make sure, again, I always tell you that when you're referring speaking samples, when you're doing speaking samples, I always tell this one thing, that please make sure that you're not using somebody else's content. Content which is mine is going to be more original. Content which is mine, I'm going to speak it more properly. Content which is not mine, I'm not able to do it. Okay, so be careful of that. Another thing, this is only for reference. This is not a model answer. This is not a sample cue card. This is the way you should be saying your cue card. This is the way you should be preparing for your cue card. This is the entire lecture is based on that. I want you to have your own unique cue cards. I would take it as a nice, interesting thing like cooking up stories, speaking. Okay, I have one last cue card to go, I guess. Then we can do few other activities. Yes, describe a special gift someone bought for you. This is very interesting. Who bought it? What was it? Why did you like it? So what I have come up with is again something very unique. I have come up with a friend buying a gift from me, which is the handmade paper from Bhutan, and which has rose petals embedded, and it's delicate, meaningful, special, unique. So I have written all these points in its special gift that someone bought for you. And let's do this. Okay, one more thing. When I prepare the cue cards, I have this habit, I never mug them up. I never practice them beforehand. When I went for my speaking, I just knew one thing, that whatever the examiner is going to give me, the content inside doesn't matter. Like a special gift someone gave me can be as simple as a water bottle and can be as precious as rubies. So the content doesn't matter. What you speak doesn't matter. How you speak matters. Of course, yeah, it's very important to be relevant. It's very important to speak on point, speak on topic. Because if you're not speaking on topic, ultimately the whole ordeal doesn't make a difference here. So make sure you're speaking on topic. So my topic was describe a gift that someone bought for you. Who bought it? When did he buy it? And why do you like it? That's my timer. A very unique, a very precious gift that I had received was from a very dear friend of mine, and this happened around a year back. So he had been traveling a lot, and when he came back, he'd gone to Bhutan. When he came back, he had all sorts of stories to tell me about this place. But suddenly, amidst, it was a very nice moment that I was not expecting. Suddenly, I got a gift in my hand amidst the stories, and it was like a long paper roll, and I was surprised. I was in a dilemma. What is it? And when I open it, I see it's a handmade paper. I've always been very fond of stationery. I've always loved handmade papers, handmade cards, and that has always fascinated me. I'm always in awe of such things. And suddenly I open this paper and I see it's pure handmade. And what was the best, what was the most unique thing about it was there were rose petals embedded in it. And I had never seen such a beautiful paper in my life. And I still have it. Imagine, it's like it was so delicate, it was so thin, and then that person explained me how the paper was made and how naturally they made it. And the gift was so special to me that I got that framed and it's there in my room. So it was not, a lot of people really feel that gifts have to be very expensive, or gifts have to be, materialistic. But I have always been intrigued of gifts that are not materialistic, that are more unique, that are more special. In this case, the paper is always given, that this handmade paper which has rose petals is always given to a lady who is, very special to you, a lady who is as good as a rose for you. And that's what the person gave me, and that's what made the gift very, very special for me. Also, I realized that the paper was very unique, and it was very precious. To find that particular kind of paper, the particular quality of paper, was very difficult till date. I mean, it's been a year. Normally papers tend to wear off, but this paper is just the way it is, just the way it wanted. It just looks new. The color hasn't faded. The rose petals haven't, the dried rose petals which are embedded are still there. Not one petal has come out of it. And I loved this particular gift. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Again, see, normally the examiner would stop you before it. But since I was going on, I just continued with it. So again, I always tell you, please make your cue cards very, very unique. Please make sure that your cue cards are unique. You have content on it for 2 minutes. Pick up any topic, you should have content on it. Pick up those topics which really mean to you. Pick up those topics it might be true, it might not be true. Honestly speaking, driving was not difficult for me. But then for the content, you have to do it. So make sure, even if it's, a lot of people ask me that should we speak original cue cards or should we cook up the cue cards? Should we make stories about the cue cards? A very simple thing that I would say is, if you're making stories about the cue card, make sure you have content to speak on 2 minutes. And again, a very important thing is you need to answer questions based on this. So if you're speaking something, make sure that you can answer it. Don't just keep bluffing entirely. For example, the book that I named was The Alchemist. I know a lot about it. I've read it honestly. But in case I've not read a book, I could have picked up a book which I know about and then speak on it. So basically, if I don't know, if I'm entirely not aware of the book, one, I would not be confident to speak on it for 2 minutes. Second thing, what will happen is, again, a bad thing is going to happen, that I'm going to be stuck up when it comes to the counter questions. So that's not making any sense, okay? So please pick up something which you can talk on for 2 minutes. I know I'm ranting about it constantly, but please bear with me. In fact, that is something that you are supposed to do ultimately. Right, so I have, in the coming slides, what I've done is I've picked up a few words which you can use for a person, which you can use for a place. I think we've done this before, which, certain synonyms which you can use, and then I'm going to explain you the band descriptors. Later, you can post any queries that you have on the speaking section. I'll be taking care of the FAQs once I'm done. Okay, so these are the adjectives. For a person, amiable, affable, somebody who's friendly. Obnoxious, somebody who is rude. Procrastinator, somebody who is, keeps on delaying things. Meticulous, somebody who's perfect. Jovial, somebody who's very jolly. Proficient, very capable. Adept is very skillful. So I could have taken it for a person who's successful. For intelligent, I could have taken the last two ones. Even meticulous would have worked. Okay. Adjectives for a place: pristine. Pristine is something which is very pure, captivating, spectacular. So normally, I keep on coming across cue cards which are there for a particular place or, vacation or something. So you can use these words basically. Again, few common words here. Important, like in IELTS, it's a very important thing for lexical resource that you don't repeat the words, you don't keep on repeating the words. So there's important, there's pivotal, there's crucial, essential, prime, vital, significant. There's many, there's medial, numerous, plethora, innumerable, multifarious, umpteen. So these are the words which you can replace. So basically, lexical resource when it comes to IELTS is nothing but knowing a wide range of words. So for example, in my first para in writing, I'm going to say important. In the next paragraph, I should be saying something that is, okay, this is something which is very crucial. Then again, it has to vary. It has to, tend to differ from, topic to topic. Also make sure that you use related words. Okay, I'm going to take you through band descriptors now. Okay, the first band descriptor that is very important is fluency and coherence. Now, what is fluency? What is coherence? Fluency, I always keep on explaining you this. Fluency does not mean talking in speed, does not mean talking at a great length, does not mean that you go on ranting about things. No. Fluency simply means you're able to strike a conversation. Fluency means you're talking, you're not stopping. So a lot of times when we record the cue cards, we have a lot of this when we speak. So don't do that. That is going to hamper your fluency. Don't do that, okay? Second thing, hesitation. Now when coming to hesitation in terms of ideas is fine. Hesitation in terms of words is not. So let's say I'm missed a sentence looking for a specific word to speak. Okay, like for example, I don't know, skillful, I'm trying to find out the synonyms of it. That does not work. Hesitation in terms of ideas is fine. Hesitation in terms of words is not. Also in a cue card, don't pause more than 5 to 6 seconds. Also at the same time, there's this thing called intonation. Now what is an intonation? Intonation is nothing but you're pitching. You're talking, as I told you. You're not giving a speech. You have to go up, you have to go down, you have to pause, you have to breathe. Remember, you breathe. So a lot of students, I'll tell you this, so if I'm taking an interview, there are a lot of students, who give the topic. I was like, breathe. There is, take a breath, you breathe in the middle, you're talking to me. Don't just do that. Doesn't work. Don't throw whatever you have at the exam. Right. Let's go to the band descriptor. Let's table and let's check fluency and coherence. Okay. So the first point says speak fluently with only occasional repetition or self-correction. Okay. Which is hesitation is content related, that is idea related, and develops the topics coherently and appropriately. Now, what is development of topics coherently and appropriately? You're talking relatively, you're structuring it properly. That's what coherence means basically. So make sure that is something that you do well, you're doing it properly. Again, a very, very important component is that we actually saw is the layout of it. I can't go haphazard with it. What happens when we speak most of the times is we speak as if the idea is striking us. We constantly, for example, whatever strikes us, we keep on speaking. Okay? So that is the only reason that flow chart, the circle that I did was because of that. Basically what I'm doing is I'm establishing a sequence. In the initial slide we did see a circle, right? So that circle is because of it. Okay, now let's see the next cue card. The next cue card is a lexical resource. In IELTS, I always tell you what the lexical resource is. When it comes to IELTS, it is not necessary to use words which are very, very long. It is not necessary to use words which are very, very difficult. The best thing about IELTS is I want you to use words which are appropriate. I want you to use words which mean something, which are correct word at the correct place is lexical resource for IELTS. Again, one very important thing that you really have to do is you have to make sure that you are actually using a wide range of words. So the slide which I showed you, for important you can use different things, for pivotal you can use different things. Paraphrasing. So I had told you the importance of paraphrasing in the beginning of the slide, in the beginning of the session. And paraphrasing is actually that. So what does paraphrasing mean? For example, if you tell me, do you like something, and I answer you, yes, I'm fond of it. So that means that I know words, I know my vocab well. And also don't repeat constantly the same word. There are few words that we tend to repeat, for example, I always have this thing, basically. So, record your own self and take care that you don't keep on repeating such words. I think each one of us has this natural way of speaking some of the other words. So basically, I have this habit of speaking basically all the time. And make sure that you don't do it. When you go to the examiner, remember that it's a formal interview. You have to make sure that you're sitting in front of an examiner ultimately. And a lot of people actually, they tell me that can we speak whatever we want to. Yes, you can. It's okay. But remember one thing, you're speaking in front of a higher authority, and then higher authority is giving you badges. So before you speak, be a little careful of what you're actually talking. Okay. The next one is grammatical range and accuracy. I always tell you grammatical range and accuracy, grammatical range, grammatical accuracy, two different things. So I don't understand this logic. A lot of people, when they write, okay, so when you're writing, you're thinking and writing. Ideally, you have to be more accurate there. But now, most of my students who are bad at grammar, they actually speak well. So I think subconsciously we all are good speakers. We all are native good speakers. So make sure that whenever you speak, you have your basic grammar in place. You're not making errors. So when we're very nervous, what happens is we make errors in terms of subject verb agreement, singular, plural, or gender, um, tenses. I'm saying a gift that somebody bought. Obviously, if it's a gift that somebody's bought for me, that has to be in the past tense. If it's like a place that I want to go, it's going to be in the future tense. Something like, for example, describe a perfect house, it would be again in a future tense. Why? Because it's the perfect house, it would be something like that. Okay, so you have to be careful about it. Also, another thing that I want to tell you is that it's very important for all of us to be grammatical range. When it comes to grammatical range, again, it's very difficult. I mean, I basically am not able to do so. You can't think, like, okay, I'm going to include grammatical range is nothing but using a wide range of sentence structure. Like, I'm going to do simple, I'm going to do complex, and going to do compound. It's very difficult for me to just think and like, okay, I'm going to make a complex structure and talk. It's humanly not possible again. So what I do is I generally, what your I mean is, don't make it too monotonous. Like, for example, house should be this. I'm talking like about a house, let's say my ideal house. So a lot of students are like, house should be this, the wall should be this, the balcony should be this, the porch should be this. So that becomes very monotonous. So I try to have variation in the sentences. So basically, don't think a lot about simple, compound, complex here, but make sure that you're having a lot of variation when it comes to the sentences. Pronunciation is a constant exercise of the mouth. You have to record your cue cards. You have to make sure that the cue cards you speak before you go over the examination. You're recording your own cue cards and you're hearing this. Trust me, this is a very, very good exercise, and most of my students who've done it have got amazing marks. So I want you to do that as well. Okay, another very important thing that I want you to do is make sure that when you speak, you're very confident. Don't get nervous. That makes sense. See, basically, I told you above everything, something that holds primary importance, something that is very, very important, is that you're able to have a natural conversation. Now, when will you be able to have a natural conversation? When you're very confident. So make sure you innately have that confidence. Make sure you have that confidence in you to speak for 2 minutes. Make sure you're able to speak at a good length. As I told you, we have a lot of services apart from there. We are always there to help you. So we have IELTS tutorials. You can download this application. We have this website as well. You can pick us up. There are a lot of online tests. We have online coaching, which is running at a 20% discount these days. We also have the tutorial site. We have writing corrections. We have a number of things. So we'll always, be it writing corrections, be it online coaching, be it speaking, you can always also join us on Telegram. Again, you have any queries on this session, you can post it on my Facebook page, and I'll be very happy to answer all your queries. Also, if you want help regarding any topic, post a topic in the comment box and I'll make sure that I give that topic, I'll give that content to you. At the same time, it's your cue card, it's your speaking. Be natural, be confident, go with the flow. Go very, be little honest. Don't cook up stories so that you get stuck up. Don't get stuck up. It's simply a 12 to 20 minute interview. That's all you have to do. So make sure you do well. Don't get scared looking at the examiner. It's not going to eat you up. A lot of students ask me, what is the recording machine for? The recording machine basically is not giving you marks. It's just recording for the purpose of audit. Basically, the examiner puts the marks according to the band descriptors. Whenever you're preparing for the speaking, make sure you have the band descriptor table in hand. Otherwise, you're not preparing for it properly. So make sure you do all these things and then you go for the exam. Have a habit of practicing. For fluency, one thing you can do is loud reading. I don't know how it changes the way you speak. It changes your voice and modulation and everything comes good. So I hope this session was useful to you. We have a lot of other webinars. You can go check them out. The webinars are on grammatical range and accuracy, lexical resource, reading, match the headings, listening, I think match the headings last time we took up, and a lot of other things. You can go there. If you like this, please like, share and subscribe us. Thank you so much. And IELTS tutorials are always there to help you. I'm always around. Any queries, you can ask me. You can post it in the group. You can post in Telegram group. You can message us. We're always there. And thank you for your support. I mean, most of you guys are always there on a Saturday morning for me and for this session. In fact, and I'm very glad that it's useful, and I hope you benefited from it. Please share your reviews, please share your feedbacks. They're all welcome. Anything more you want me to do for you, any topic which you want me to cover for you, you can post it in the comment box. We'll surely try to pick it up. And I'll see you next Saturday again at the same time. And thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for all the support. Have a very lovely weekend and keep scoring amazing bands. All the best, everybody. And bye bye.